moved into my house, there was just woods next door and no clear delineation of space between my yard and my neighbor's yard. But wisteria grew everywhere. Wisteria grew up this mighty oak that this is the only remnant of. I mean, you might be able to see the root spread on this. Out to where my foot is, way out there to just about where that white tarp is. Wisteria grew up this tree and strangled it to death. It is an amazing, amazing plant. How can you hate it? Look at this. So I was able to find, let's see if I can find another one. A root, a wisteria root growing out along the ground. I don't see one right now. But if you look down there, the root extends out. So if you can find it along the ground, just rip a piece of it out if it has any fibrous roots on it, or even if it doesn't. Rip it out of the ground and it'll become a tree. Or take a little guy like this and it'll become a tree. Or if you're very lucky and your neighbor's real nice, he might let you take that out of the ground. And look at that long root extension going along the ground. What a beefy tree that would make. A little weird right there, but that's a beefy tree. Some more dawn redwoods and some eastern red cedars. Lots of them. Oh, this is a sad story I keep forgetting to tell. These are American hornbeam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 casualties. That one leafed out. So 14 casualties. Oh, maybe 2 leafed out. Okay. 1, 2. 15 casualties. 3, 4, 5, 6 survived. I don't know what happened. I just don't know what happened. Little update on my dawn redwoods, which I have in the pond baskets. All doing stupendously well. That is a cutting from a mountain laurel that I hope will root. My mountain laurels have all been suffering of late. They're very leggy. Look at the trunk on that. 2 blueberries. The species for bonsai recommended to me and to you by Candace of Bonsai Science. So I picked up 2. These are the non-self-pollinating, so I got 2. Mazelkovas. I have 6 of them. Beautiful, healthy specimens, 2 in a pot. Hope that wasn't a problem. Some azalea cuttings on the grow. Some thuja seedlings from seed. This is the Toringo crab apple from Ralph in my club. He says the Dawn Redwood that I traded for it is doing very well. I saw a picture of it. This I'm certainly not sure of. I think it's a hazel. It appears like a hazel, and that's how the plant apps identify it. This just started growing in my yard. I know of no hazel trees around, but I do see some bushes that look like this. That's my cherry trio in need of a haircut. My common bald cypress. These were last year's cuttings that rooted. I have 6 more in the greenhouse that I hope will root. One of these is dead. And the parent trees are growing up nicely. I got to do something with this landscape. Here is my beautiful Alberta spruce. A little worried that these are going to leave marks, because if you watched the video the other day, I had this branch pulled down and it left a mark. This guy needs a cleanup and a herpesectomy, I think, since this is very orange at times. On 1, 2, 3 of these trees. That one back there has it too. There's cedar apple rust. So I got to do an extraction. I tried these trees. I tried using isopropyl alcohol. I've got to get this moss off of here. It's really way too thick. And just redo this landscape altogether and resize these trees in relation to the ones that are now going to be missing. I have some others. They may not be right. That is my Hinoki cypress. Growing along well. Got to get that wire off, probably by July. I added one of the discarded men from Central Park. I added him under this sprawling maple-shaped or oak-shaped boxwood on top of this hill. The moss is not taking off like I hoped it would on this, but it is catching. I have a plan, and this kind of comes from Tom from Grow and Clip Bonsai for Seniors. Tom, I have a curved rock that I want to put in here to kind of simulate a shoreline, and possibly, if the height is right, because I can't go higher than the lip of the pot, for a small pond here, and on the rock maybe a little guy fishing. Grandpa's watching over there. On his little bench in the shade. And here is my Cotoneaster future windswept design. This guy is the only one that I'm going to have to torque over to make work. But it's entirely possible. I'm going to wait till after it blooms. These flowers are just so pretty. A Satsuki azalea that I grew from a cutting. This one blooms in July normally. It's probably going to bloom early this year. All of my other azaleas are in full bloom. The ones out front are 7-8 feet tall. Everyone says cut them down. Occasionally I do. I've been in this house 42 years. Occasionally I do cut them down. My trident maples, this was an air layer from this tree. I gotta do more air layers and then maybe do something with these trees. They are beautifully vigorous, tiny leafed trident maples, or leaves can be made very tiny. And they take well to defoliation, I'm told. My ill-fated larch cuttings. The common bald cypress, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. And if I just had roots on this, one of them I spun a little bit, so I probably broke the roots off. And these are dawn redwood cuttings. They're doing beautifully. This, oh, Nigel Saunders, if you watch this channel, or if you watch this episode, is this nightshade? Sure looks like it. In which case I'm going to have as much fun with it as you're having with yours. Not sure what this is, but it's very tree-like and it just started growing. This is, I think, a Japanese holly that I found growing at my daughter and son-in-law's house. This, I believe, is a Chinese juniper from a tree around the block. From seed from a tree around the block. I have 3 seedlings from that. This is just a yew that started growing in the yard. Here are cuttings, various cuttings, some moss, some cotoneaster, my English ivy, a piece of Chinese elm, and lots of gnats. I mean, I know why. Little fungus gnats. So I have too much water in one of my trays here. Okay, a wisteria seedling. Some hosta from seed. And Tony from Tony's Bonsai worked on a katsura that I looked at today, and that's what these are. Not to be confused with katsura maple. From seed, from a tree in my neighborhood. And nothing has struck in these pots at all.